All right, you are a small business owner. You might be a solopreneur, working from home. Everything's on you. And there is a freedom in that can be really liberating and really exciting. But it can also mean that you are constantly stressed by all of the things that you need to do and not having the resources, namely the time, to do them.
Yeah, and I think it sounds so exciting, like to be your own boss. And it is. It's very fulfilling, but it is also hard and it comes with a lot of responsibilities. But the the thing is, none of those responsibilities matter if you're not taking care of yourself because you won't even get to them. And so the biggest responsibility you have in running your own thing, in working from home, in trying to build your business is making sure that you are putting the time for self-care and keeping your own mind and body in check.
Yeah. Welcome to the Big Bad Marketing Podcast. I am Brooke.
And I'm Janae, and we're two small business owners. We run Big Bad Marketing, and we're sharing our ideas from the inside of what it's like to have a never ending to do list that keeps growing, even while I'm trying to cross things off of it.
Yes, and to offer you listeners some actionable ways to reduce the stress and potentially some mindset shifts and different framing of particular problems that we experience as small business owners. And just here to gently remind you that yes, it's all on you, but you don't need to do everything yourself. And taking care of you also needs to be a priority as you build your business,
Yeah, you don't even need to do everything today.
right?
Okay, Brooke, I think you alluded to this just now, but can you give us a quick definition of stress? You just shared this with me recently and it really clicked. Something clicked when you explained what does stress mean. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was listening to a really great episode of the Rich Roll podcast, and the gentleman who was on as the guest, name is escaping me, but his whole career is around emotional intelligence and specifically teaching kids in school how to identify and work through their emotions. So he went through a series of emotions and outlined exactly what they were. And stress was essentially having too many responsibilities and too much on your plate and inadequate resources to get everything done. So you're in this state of stress because there is just endless things that you could do, and you know objectively there are insufficient resources, whether that is money, time, other people on your team if you have it. You're just never going to get anything done, and that can be debilitating.
Oh, it's draining. And I feel like it's distressing to be in a state of so much stress.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and how frequently I wake up and feel like that because while we have so much fun doing this and building this business and doing it together, and Brooke, I'm so grateful for you and doing this together because I can't imagine what it's like doing it by yourself, but our list grows. We like have a 5 minute chat and we're like, oh yeah, I'll also add these 7 things to your list and I'll take these three. And it just never feels like we actually make a dent because we always come up with new things that need to get done or they're just roll out. So that feeling of stress is constant. And I just feel really that it is really important for my own well-being to be able to pause from the list and do other things. And I don't think anything we're going to share today is like reinventing the wheel or groundbreaking, but they're just really simple things that we do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis to just reset and keep our holistic self, right? Like mind, body, spirit, all of that in alignment and in harmony. So we can keep doing this and not get burnt out, I think is the bottom of where that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we both have several times transitioned from corporate world to freelance world to corporate world to freelance world. And so now we're back in obviously building this business and in a state of self-employment. And the last time that I was self-employed, I feel like I was burning myself out because I was doing it alone. The more I worked, the more I made. So there was a financial driver to sort of pushing it to the limit, working on weekends, working evenings, and it was not healthy for me. It was not healthy for my marriage. And I made a pledge to myself that this time I would treat it differently and having a few more years under my belt and a little bit more perspective. But, there were times in corporate world too where it's like, oh, I don't have time to eat lunch because I need to be on this call and this call and this call. And I'm back to back for 6 straight hours in the middle of the day. And that was its own unique form of stress. And then it's like, okay, why didn't you eat all day? Have you refilled your water cup? Like, why are you
To take a
so
walk.
chaotic about these things? And why can't you just take a break and go make a cup of tea? So I think personally, I am approaching this stage of building a business really different because I have seen firsthand the effects of running
The
full
hamster
speed
wheel.
ahead at
Yeah.
all times and then feeling the burnout from that.
Oh yeah. I'm relating so much with your description of the freelance situation because I also experienced that. And it was a sensation of monetizing my time
Mm.
and thinking about my time in dollars. And okay, that's accurate in like if you zoom out totally, like money and time are related to each other in some way, but it can become a place that's not healthy I'm like, okay, it's 2 a.m. If I do this right now, then I can make this many dollars. That brings my grand total for the day to this. And it's an easy trap to slip into. And that's, I think, the last time what led me into rejoining a workforce for an agency, for a company in that corporate situation, which is, I think something else we're hovering around wanting to share about is like the 9 to 5 and the perceived stability of that and the perceived security of that. But that's still relevant here because I just went from like monetizing my hours to then a role where I had a security, right, of a salary, but then I never had enough time during the day to do all of the workload. And I ended up working more hours in the evening when no one else was logged in and I could get things done quietly. And it's a trap. All of those things right now from where I am feel like a trap. So I think there's just a blanket here of like, let's run through a few different ideas of what we actually do to help keep the stress at bay, even though it's very real, no matter whether you're running a business and you're a solopreneur or you work in a corporate job or you stay at home and you take care of your family members or you do any number of things, right? Like de-stressing and self-care are so important.
Yeah. And then again, like with any of these sort of more vibes-based episodes, I do feel like we need to acknowledge that people at different ages and stages of life are going to be able to do this differently, and it's going to look different for everybody. And I am coming at this from the standpoint of I do not have children. I have animals that I care for, but beyond that, I don't really have some of the more traditional responsibilities of people my age. So I am cognizant that if you have very small children running around and I'm like, go take a yoga class in the middle of the day, and you're like, screw you, Brooke, I don't have time to do that. So what we're
Oh yeah.
saying is these are the things that we do. We just are sharing them so that maybe you can take bits and pieces and maybe you can find a couple moments of peace and solitude amidst the insanity of your day. And maybe this is just the gentle nudge for you to work with the people around you in your community to try and get some time for yourself or to do some smaller things for you. So this is in no way to say, go do
It's
this morning
easy.
routine and this data. Like, that's not what we're saying. We're not about
Oh
that.
gosh. No, and I just want to say from the other side of that spectrum, which is like I live with a partner and his children, and we've got pets, and we have full schedules of commuting to an office and commuting to school and after school activities and then adult activities. And there's a lot, and it is really hard. And it's not that easy to just be like, I'm going to go for a run this morning. Like, well, then there's going to be kids in the house alone. Like, so many things to think about. So just wanting to relate and humanize the experience of being a person in the modern world where there's so much going on all the time. And if you relate to this or you have friends and family who are dealing with this experience and don't know what to do, go ahead and send them this podcast episode and it will help them make a shift or change in their mindset so that they can better take care of themselves and grow the things that are important to them and reach their goals more easily because they're coming from a full cup instead of an empty one.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. So one of the things that we share and things that we bonded over many times is this love of just moving our bodies and feeling like, when we were together the other week, there were several times where it was sort of like, okay, I need to get out of my head and into my body. So just feeling like that is a very freeing thing to do, especially as a small business owner, when you are sort of banging your head against a wall on a particular problem and feeling like I am not getting anywhere.
Hmm.
Sometimes that means go move and let your subconscious start to turn. And you would be surprised how many amazing ideas come up when you were just out for a walk, out for a jog, in a yoga class, strength training, like any of these ways to just move and nurture your physical body and open up these other pathways to let your brain kind of breathe and have a minute.
Take the pressure off of the thinking mind
Yeah.
and the chatter that's constantly going around. Because at some point it just becomes counterproductive. And you and I will be like editing a document and we just get loopy because we're like, should we revise this word? Should we do this? And we're like, we need to stop doing this and
Mhm.
go not be in this at all. And I like
Yes.
to call this one running away from our problems because literally like run, just go run. And I'm not like a huge athletic person or a runner for that matter, but taking a quick jog around the block has been such a shift for me to like get the heart rate moving and the cardio and release endorphins. And that is a natural mood lift. And so even if I don't actually regenerate new ideas and come back with like, I have all this great creative brain, I just feel less stressed and a little more relaxed. And that changes the whole tone of my day. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
even if you don't like running, like take a walk. I love doing YouTube videos of like dance classes or shuffling or just like anything that makes you excited. There's also one I love, which is the shakeout. I think I told you about this one, or you just like it's a Tai Chi move and you just shake your body and it like walks you through, shake your legs, shake your arms. And it's like a little kid could do this. This is fine. But for 1 minute, just shake and then stop. And it's just like a powerful reset for your physical body.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, the body and the mind are so interconnected that bringing that movement and that blood flow into your body can create such a more pleasant experience in your brain
Mhm.
when you do decide that it's time to get back to work.
Oh yeah, and I get into slumps and like my physical activity sort of chart on a monthly basis, like it goes up and down and sometimes I'm just like I don't want to do it, but when I do it, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And it's that consistency, even if it's small, even if it's a 10-minute little dance video or something, like just start moving my body, it makes such a difference. And I just want to invite more people to do that. And I'm not speaking from like I'm on the podium, I know how to do it, but I just know from my own experience, it really helps change my mood and reset my interactions with other people. I stop being so like snappy and rah, rah, rah. I'm like, okay, now what? What's next?
Yeah. And one of the ways that I love to use exercise is to bookend my day. And that's something that I've
Ooh.
always struggled with is when to stop working. And so
Ooh.
walk my dog first thing in the morning. When I get back, I grab my coffee, and that means it's time to work. And then when my work day is over, I'm out walking the dog, and that sort of bookends my day. So, sort of using some type of movement and
Mm-hmm.
exercise to signal to your brain, okay, it's time to pull out of that mode. And I mean, I think this can be especially useful if you have a partner or a family and just to reset yourself and you're no longer in small business owner mode. Not that we ever really step out of it, but now it's time for family things and togetherness. And I'm just going to put on this different hat that I wear and take off my small business owner hat, at least temporarily.
Yes. One of the challenges of the modern workforce, especially for working remotely, although I have to say I love this, is there's no commute, right? And commuting is very much a physical boundary between the space where you work and your home. And so for those of us who are working from home, which a former coworker of ours used to say, is it working from home or is it living at work?
Yes.
And especially as a small business owner, I relate even more to that because I'm like, I do live and work and it's all the same. And we don't get that boundary of physically leaving the experience and kind of having that like you're driving or you're on the train and your brain is just in its own mellow subconscious movement. And so a friend of mine, I used to, a former roommate actually, she had a remote job and she was very committed to her commute to work. And she would literally do a lap. Like she would walk a lap around the neighborhood and it's like, now I'm at work. And then after work, she'd log off and shut the computer and then walk. And that's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's great for exercise, but also it's so smart psychologically for building in a boundary, just like you're saying with the bookends. So I love that. And I would like to start doing that.
yeah, yeah. So another thing that we did together, which I really enjoyed, is breath work. Talk a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Oh, breath work is so there's lots of ways to do it. And I think some of them can be very intimidating, but some of them can be just as simple as like slowing down the breath and just taking a few minutes to concentrate on the breath. And you can amp it up from there, right? That might be more meditative, while there's other ones that are more quick paced and designed to really help create some circulation and movement in your physical body in a different way, and release different hormones and different activations of areas of your brain and your heart and your body and help synchronize them. So there's a lot to choose from, and we can drop a few links to breathwork videos, but they also are a powerful way to sort of recondition, re program the mind. And sometimes there's like breath retention where you hold the breath in or you release the breath and then you hold and you don't breathe in for a little while. And those help to literally rewrite and rewire your brain that everything is okay and you're in control of the situation, because often it's our parasympathetic nervous system that is in the fight or flight and it's responding when challenging things come up, when stress comes up because you have too many things and not enough time to do them. And that's the perfect opportunity to do a little breath work and reset.
Yeah, love that. And another way that I like to use breath work is to calm down in advance of a response to something that is, what do they say? It's like, don't react, respond.
Oh yeah.
So when you get that email from the client that is not happy with the way that things are going, taking a
We never
beat,
get
and
those.
we've never received one here at Big Bad Marketing. That doesn't happen to us, but it might happen to you. No, just kidding.
No, false.
But one of the methods that I really like to use myself is called box breathing. And that's
Mm,
keeping the same consistency, length of breath and hold. So, for example, you would breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. And just doing that 5 or 6 times through that cycle is just such a reset for your nervous system. And you have so much more clarity and perspective when you are through with even that really short breath
mm,
cycle. And, another thing we do is sometimes just wait. And if you are really amped up emotionally, don't respond in those moments. Just give yourself, and then again, go take the walk, go move your body, get out of your brain and into your body to
mhm.
reset, and then come back to it later.
Oh, it's so beautiful because it's also it's a commute, right? It's like
Right.
literally building a boundary and some distance from challenging things that look so many different ways, different kinds of challenges come up. And even if it's a 30-second experience, it's still you're creating that space.
Yeah. So,
And listener, we want to invite you here to sign up for our newsletter if you are getting value from these kinds of tips where we're showing up for you in a way that's like, yeah, we talk business, but also we talk real life because we're real humans. Our newsletter is the perfect place for you because we fill it up with jokes and silly stories, but also practical tips for your life, for your business, for being a human in a modern world. And that's www.bigbadmarketing.com/newsletter.
yes, you will enjoy it. We talk about lots of fun things, including one that I wanted to share. Um, like I said earlier, I'm treating this time of building a business different than other times in my life. And one of the things that I have committed to is life rule here. There is always time for a belly rub. So, regardless
Hey.
of how much is on my to-do list, anytime I walk past my dog, I am giving her a belly rub. And I will always take a second to just give her a little bit of love and attention because it's good for her, it's good for me.
Mm,
And it is a way to remind myself that work is not the most important thing in my life. and there are other priorities of mine. So if you don't have a dog, maybe you have a cat, a turtle, a child, like, can you just acknowledge and give love to another being in your life and just use that as the mental reset of my life is the most important thing, not the stress that I am feeling over my business.
Yeah, not this email that needs to go out by 4 p.m.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I love that. And it's really an opportunity to revisit values, right? And the lifestyle that you're creating as you jump into this endeavor of building a business. And for us, that's a big part of it is what lifestyle do we want to create for ourselves, not what bank account number do we want to hit. And that's been a big driving force for us. And ideally, right, there's like a marriage of both of those things, and they can all grow towards the direction we're aiming for. But if you're able to put money aside, and like we have financial responsibilities, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I think we're both cognizant that for us as individual humans, like our peace of mind and our general sense of stability and who we are is so much more important than hitting quarterly targets. So and I think we can do both. So would invite listener, I would invite you to do the same and sort of reframe how you're driving and what you're driving towards.
Yeah.
And I want to just do a quick rapid fire of a few other ways that I love to like get out of business mode and into real life, messy life, human experience mode.
Yes, please. You have all the interesting creative hobbies, so go on.
Well, like apparently one of them is road tripping, and I just drive around for hours and hours and hours. So I love talking on the phone with my friends during those times. And shout out to one of my new friends, Alicia, who stayed on the phone with me till like 3 in the morning recently while I was driving. I was like, I don't know if you're doing this for me or you, but I love it and thank you. So call your friends and call your family. But okay, ways I get my hands messy actually are gardening. I love pulling the weeds out, which is a productive thing to do, and it's fun and just gets my mind out of all this stuff. And then I'm a huge pottery beginner. I'm such a beginner, amateur, and I'm learning. So I want to say that with a lot of humility, but I love going to the studio. It's right across the street, which I'm very fortunate for. And I ride my bike there and I come home covered in clay and mostly don't make anything that is like particularly useful, but I'm getting there and I'm just excited about that. And then I like doing watercolors and doodling, and I also play the guitar. And these are all ways where like if I can carve out maybe not the pottery so much, but if I can carve out 5 or 10 minutes and just do it and be like take a break from the work and do that, it feels so good. And it really generates that change in the vibrations of my mental space. And it's a favor for me and a favor for our business and everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I would say I'm a little less creative in that way. I have aspirations to be more of a creative person, and that's something, Janae and I talk about, and I'm pursuing various instruments and things and just trying to get more into that way. But I do think there is something to be said for if you, small business owner, are more of like a keyboard warrior like us, there is something so fulfilling about just getting your hands dirty in a physical thing. Like I also love to garden and just being in the dirt. I I can't stop smiling when I do things in the garden because it just feels so good to get in and do something
With nature.
with nature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sunshine. I love getting like so, I live in Florida and it's so humid and hot and getting like so sweaty for being outside for 5 minutes. I'm like, yes, my hands
Nailing it.
are like, like dirt under my nails, all of it.
Oh,
Another one that we haven't mentioned yet that I'll drop in here is we both are big readers. And that's the thing we
mm,
share in our newsletter too. So if you ever need some book inspiration, definitely sign up for the newsletter. We'll tell you all the things we're reading. But whether that's fiction books or nonfiction, we both just seem to be like, this is a great way to escape the mental chatter of my own brain and get into something else and learn and grow. So there are so many ways, and listener, you probably have a ton of things that you're interested in. And the invitation is to just write down a few of them and go do them. Go do things that make you happy, bring you joy, make you feel peaceful, help you reset or get your heart rate going, and put yourself as a human first,
yeah.
business after.
Beautiful. Love that. Yeah. You matter, small business owner, and you are more than just your business. And you'd be wise to remember that. And I think we are trying to do the same. It's, we're building this brand and an identity around it, and we're doing great work that we're excited about. But at the end of the day, we are still Brooke and Janae, and we are the humans behind that. And regardless of what happens with this business, and the sad reality is a lot of small businesses are not going to make it, but you can be so much more than
Even
just
more
your
reason to
business.
make sure you're
Yeah,
still filling up your own cup. So,
absolutely.
listener, if no one has told you this today or recently, you're doing an amazing job and take care of yourself too.
Yep. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe and follow and share it with somebody that you love.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Cheers.